caught my fiancé cheating on me. Now she's furious because I asked for ring back. Story 1. My 22 male fiancé, 21 female, caught up with a friend and questioned our engagement. Despite the fact that my fiancé did not physically cheat on me, she became emotionally involved with someone she used to like. At the end of November, I realized she was sending him photographs of her work clothing, pictures of what we were doing, such as carving pumpkins for Halloween, and contacting him constantly during her working day, most of which were about inconsequential topics. Her wish to watch a Netflix show one night was afterwards referenced by him in their conversation the following morning. When he sent the final message, he admitted that he had affections for my fiancé and said that the ball is now in your court. Somewhere along the process, my fiancé remarked something like, "Oh my goodness, that's a lot to take in at once. I need to figure out what I'm doing here, but we shouldn't communicate until I figure it out." She then took a snapshot of the chat and sent it to one of her closest friends. "Wait a minute, what are you going to do?" Someone said. This isn't the first time she's sent him a text message. Last year, she was also catch up with him in terms of time. The woman said she loved him, but she was with me at the time and felt her feelings were wrong. I became acquainted with the writings. She turned off the notifications for his iMessage and Facebook interactions. I confronted her and assaulted her. She said that she was aware that she was doing something that would injure me, but she went ahead and did it anyway. I requested a return phone call and returned home to spend a week with my family. As a result of talking to others who urged me to quit since it wasn't the first time, I said I have to give it one more chance and see what she does, and we've been trying to work things out ever since. Currently, I'm seeing a therapist and she's doing the same. The idea of couples counseling appeals to us, but we need to figure out exactly what we want from it. We spoke about it again last night and she said that she had never flirted with him, but she later admitted that she may have done so after I discovered it. I get the impression that I'm going around in circles with her. When I'm stressed out, I'm gnashing my teeth and finding it tough to forgive others. The fact that this wasn't the first time she'd slept with him had made her vow to herself that she'd never do it again. I'm concerned about our future, and she tells me on a regular basis that she loves me. However, I assume it is due to the fact that she was detained and almost lost track of me. Any suggestions would be much appreciated. I'm concerned that this would have led in physical cheating at some point in the future. I logged into my ex-computer girlfriends yesterday and uncovered a correspondence with her buddy from a year ago that I was completely ignorant of until yesterday. I was telling her about my dreams, bizarre flirty banter, and pop culture disputes that I thought I had gotten her involved. In hindsight, it all lines up. She had a sensation that something was going on in 2019, although she wasn't sure what she was feeling at the moment. We were still dating at that point and not engaged. I also found out 4 weeks ago that she had decided to call it quits on our romance. Also, when she encountered a friend who had been in contact with someone who had COVID, she breached the line of social distance that I had established. Opinions aside, she never told me, and my family had a few high-risk people. We had a nice conversation last night. I informed her of my new findings and advised her that it was all over for her. She has to dig into her feelings for the other person more thoroughly, who looks half as good as me and is nowhere near financially stable. She gave her approval, and I got the ring in return. After many tears, I started negotiating the lease and the amount of money owed. She's a jerk because I or my family own 80% of our possessions, which she considers to be theft. She was driving my car and counting on me to bring her and me to our apartment building. Even with a roommate, she will have difficulties. I hope nothing bad happens to her, but she should have taken everything into consideration before casting doubt on our relationship. It is necessary for the time being that I remain in seclusion until I can return to my parents. It's a bizarre state of limbo. Although it is unpleasant, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The wonderful memories make me sad, but I know that if this didn't happen, she would express her feelings to other people if we did end up getting married. The good news is that I have a lovely supervisor who has encouraged me to take the next few days off. I also have amazing friends who have been supporting me during this difficult time. The fact that COVID pushed us to postpone our wedding, which would have been 1 week before the big day, is something I'm glad for. Our lease on our flat expires at the end of last month. We were able to get out of the lease with little to no financial consequence on our part. Once everything was in place, it was like taking a huge breath of fresh air. Even though she took most of our possessions and left the place in disarray, everything turned out well in the end. 90 days have passed since we last chatted with one another, only taking about lease updates and arranging pickups for personal belongings. This was the best choice available. It was difficult at times, but it allowed me to devote more time to my own personal growth and development. I'm really looking forward to getting started on this new chapter of my life. During the celebration, my family had some A5 Wagyu steak from Japan. My savings account has already grown substantially, and the wedding and engagement expenditures were just around $1,000 or $3,000 or so. After all, it's a little price to pay in the larger scheme of things, a lot cheaper than a divorce. I'm getting back into shape, pursuing old hobbies, spending time with family, and hope to continue meeting new people once the COVID has subsided a little. I'd better get moving since I've been informed of a new work chance. The speed with which things may turn around after you get out of the fog is amazing to see. There are no words to express how important it is to move on if you're young and single. The decision to stop things 2 months ago has been so much better than the decision to try to make things better in the same amount of time. Thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts on this subject. My heart goes out to anybody who is struggling with the effects of adultery. I hope that my personal experience may provide you with the encouragement you need, and please do not hesitate to contact me. Cheers. Also, how long did it take for individuals who had just started dating to make the decision to commit? I realize that it differs from person to person, but I want to know what your plans are in terms of time. In my opinion, 6 months after D-Day is an appropriate amount of time. Despite the fact that I'm pleased with the way things are going, I would want to devote a little more time to myself. Edit. The car situation has been brought to our attention by a concerned party. Just before we parted ways, she was driving my car and I was driving hers. She was injured as a result of an accident. No one was hurt. The insurance company compensated me for the whole of my losses with a large amount. She was not at fault. And as a result, I went out and purchased the vehicle that we had intended to purchase after our wedding. She was enraged when she discovered the truth. It's been more than a year since the invasion of Normandy. I cannot express my gratitude to this group enough. Without you, I would not be in the position I am in today. Using this post, I'd want to illustrate that things can become better if you work hard enough for them to do so. Since our lease terminated, I haven't talked to my ex-boyfriend. The choice to go away was the best one I could have taken at the time. It assisted me in getting over my difficulties quickly. I highly suggest you to take this action. Keep your position intact. If you're being trotted on, you need to have a strong backbone. I ultimately succeeded, and it was a fantastic feeling. After a breakup, don't be afraid to take chances. Within 3 months, I was offered a new position that I would not have accepted if I had remained in my former relationship with my boyfriend. In addition to reconnecting with old acquaintances and spending time with family, I started participating in new hobbies such as hiking. Create new personal goals for yourself now that you are no longer a part of a team. As a result, you must now create goals for your own future. It was both a financial and a professional decision for me. I am glad to say that I have met and exceeded these goals and that I will continue to do so in 2022. Finally, give yourself some time to rest and recoup. I sought the services of a therapist who proved to be really beneficial. I healed and felt ready to re-enter the dating pool after a period of time. I've since found a wonderful lady whom I would never have appreciated as much as I do now if it hadn't been for my upbringing in a different environment. We're all on this journey together, and in the vast majority of cases, things will get better. This support group is deserving of a lot of appreciation. You're all wonderful people with wonderful personalities. I hope that one day we will all be able to move on from this thread, heal, and find the love we deserve. I have faith, and I have faith because I see our days in the future, says the narrator. Story 2. Me, 23 male, with my GF 23 female 6 years. She cheated on me, has done everything right since, but I want to break up. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 6 years since we met during a week at university. We were each other's first relationship/kiss connection, and so on. Our relationship has been relatively unremarkable. There were many ups and downs, but we persevered as we matured from teenagers to young graduates/professionals. She cheated on me in October of last year. I was in my last year of medical school at the time. I was out of the country for 6 months for rotations. When I returned, I studied/crammed for my final exams for a month. Our connection was strained at the time, first due to the distance and subsequently due to my examinations. During the difficult period, she befriended a colleague at the drugstore where she works. It was a few days before my exams when she cheated. We had a disagreement in the morning over my waking her up when I returned from the library at 4 a.m. She said I was ignoring her and not taking her needs into account. I apologized for being so stressed out and not being a good boyfriend the previous few weeks. She expressed her dissatisfaction and said that we will have a serious discussion when she finished her assignment. She went to work, then went out for drinks with her colleagues. She was intoxicated and ended up blowing one of the men in a bar's restrooms. She panicked out halfway through the deed and contacted a mutual acquaintance, who took her up. She then instantly admitted to me what had occurred the previous night, and she was visibly shaken/crying as a result of the experience. I was really numb and stressed from studying at the time. I suppressed all of my emotions and concentrated only on my final exams. She has been the ideal girlfriend since that fateful night. She quit her previous career, which she loved, and worked as a waitress until she just obtained a new pharmaceutical position. She severed all ties with her former drugstore employees. She has given me complete access to all of her texts, phone, and internet. She constantly updates me on her whereabouts, even though I didn't ask for it. She constantly begs for my permission to leave the house, etc. She has hired her own counselor and has also paid for couples therapy, which I've avoided for the past 6 months. She has been extremely open and honest with me, and she has answered all of my queries. She has been cooking, cleaning, and doing laundry for me. I got a lot of new clothing, etc. as a graduation gift. I bought myself tickets to Antarctica in December. She has been extremely understanding and tolerating of me, even when I was first chilly to her following the revelation. She has been an absolute saint in her efforts to salvage the relationship. The trouble is that I can't bring myself to care about any of it. I felt numb to the entire affair when she initially informed me. I haven't had any powerful feelings since then. I simply don't give about it. I'm not furious with her, yet all I feel when I see her is revulsion. I know she's doing everything right and being so kind, but I can't seem to conjure any feeling other than hatred and apathy. She's attempted to kiss me / have with me after the event, and all I've gotten so far are half-hearted embraces. I requested her not to come to my graduation, which wounded her deeply, but she complied entirely. Every time I refuse her approaches, I see her misery, which makes me sad as well, but I can't seem to force myself to move on from the event. I know that time and treatment will help me get over my numbness, but I don't want to do it. My hatred has now subsided, but I believe that even if she was completely loyal for the rest of our lives, this experience would remain in the back of my mind. Relationships shouldn't be this difficult this early on, in my opinion. I can't fathom how horrible our relationship will be in our 30s with the burden of finances / kids, etc. if we're going to therapy to cope with guilt / resentment in our 20s. GF and I spoke about my sentiments during the holidays. I've informed her that everything else in my life is okay. I've been working out for the last 2 years. I've just begun working as a doctor, which I really adore. I've got a nice apartment and new pals, and so on. This is the one aspect of my life that is weighing me down. She, on the other hand, is adamantly opposed to the breakup. She promises to fight for us even if I don't want to. I have already moved away from her, yet she still comes over to my new place. I know I could just take her keys and lock her out of my apartment, but I feel it would be callous after everything she has gone through. I've spoken about it with my friends, and they all believe that I should at least attempt to save the relationship. Even yet, I can't seem to generate the willpower to attempt. I'm relieved to be moving on with my life, yet I feel bad for not trying more. So my concern is, should I attempt to rescue this relationship, as everyone in my logical part advises, or should I trust my instinct and go on? First, she is being selfish by attempting to keep the relationship going. Second, my sentiments are valid, even if my friends continue to press for reconciliation. Third, dismantling is the way to go. Fourth, if I really loved her, I would be able to forgive. Those comments, together with some reflection, let me realize that my ambivalence regarding her stems from the fact that I no longer love her. When she cheated, all my love was replaced with hatred, and I was simply wasting both of our time. I realized the only reason I hadn't broken up with her was because I was being meek / lazy / taking the easiest road. So I decided to man up and perform the deed 2 days ago. I decided to take the day off from work. I summoned 3 mutual acquaintances who arrived to my flat to pack her belongings. I then invited her to come over after work. She had a half day. When she arrived, I explained why I was splitting up with her, that I was returning her belongings and the presents she had purchased, and that I would pay her for the Antarctica trip. I told her I no longer love her, all I feel is contempt, and it's been a few months, these sentiments aren't going away, and the relationship is over. She screamed and cried, saying she'd do better / give her another chance / I'm the only guy for her / we're meant to get married / have kids / don't throw our future away, and so on. To be honest, none of her feelings affected me. I couldn't give a, which just proved my instincts correct. She began creating a commotion, so my mutual friends took her away. She grabbed her belongings but left me her presents and said that she did not want my money. I instructed her to keep NC and change my phone number, and to return my home keys to me. We parted ways, and I assumed that it was the end of it. Her parents, as previously said, are a hysterical bunch of traditional Indians. My father phoned me yesterday to notify me of the pranks played on me by my ex-parents' girlfriend. After I ended my relationship with her, she moved to live with her parents. They then stormed into my parents' house, ranting about how I am a who has damaged their daughter, how my family lacks honor, and how I should marry their daughter if we were both wonderful people, lol. They also threatened to tarnish our reputation in the Indian community if we did not follow their demands. The reason I stopped our relationship, rather than the other way around, was because she cheated on me, according to my father. If my father learns anything negative about my family, he will spread the word to the rest of the Indian community about their daughters who are out whoring about. As proof, my father gave them the emails that my ex-girlfriend had sent to me after her infidelity, which I had provided to my brother for advice before she committed adultery. The ex-family girlfriends expressed regret and asked that we not reveal anything about her. After that, she left. Today, I got a bunch of phone calls from friends with whom I have a shared interest. The ex's parents are reportedly transporting her back to India, where she will most likely be arranged to marry a man they know. Some of my friends encouraged me to reconcile with her in order to save her from this situation. I told them to keep their mouths quiet and to stop meddling with my personal life. It would be appropriate for them to marry her before she gets deported to India if they are so worried about the situation. If they are unable to respect my feelings, they should be required to remove my phone number from their records. To be quite honest, I couldn't give about some of our mutual friends. I have made new friends at work, so it's not a big deal if I lose touch with some old ones as a consequence of this divorce. The emotional highs and lows of the preceding 2 days have been incredible. I've been putting in long hours and am enjoying myself, even the parts when I had to do a rectal exam on some 60-year-old guy. A weight has been removed off my shoulders and I feel relieved. This year, I want to focus entirely on being single and to enjoy every moment of it. My parents are likewise pleased that the relationship has come to an end. As it turns out, they detested her ex-girlfriend since she was ignorant of her Indian origin, couldn't speak the language, didn't know our history, etc. They've decided to give up on marriage and have said that they would not pursue it for at least the next 3 years. Millhouse, everything is coming into place right now. Only thing I'm hoping for is that the ex's parents don't get into any more Bollywood-style pranks or drama.